Okay, so welcome to our Upanishad sessions. And I thought we'll take this as a filler between, after completing the Bhagavad Gita and then maybe starting it again.
Yeah,
And so, why one decided to do it was that I stumbled upon this Upanishad uh, by chance, and I feel that it is one of the shortest and deepest texts that I have read. And because you all are genuine seekers who have been persistent on the path of spiritual knowledge, so this is to ignite your interest in our great texts, which are very, very subtle. Now, something about the background about Ishupanishad. Firstly, let's understand that, in our tradition, we have the Vedic literature, so which
yeah,
refers essentially to the Vedas, right?
yes.
So, Vedas, so the compendium, the Vedic literature actually refers to the Vedas and the texts which are inspired by the Vedas and provide us with more information or detailed treatise of the Vedas. So, this body of text, ancient Indian texts, are written in Vedic Sanskrit and not the Lokic Sanskrit that we read today. And these, of course, they date back to 2500 to 5000 years ago from today. But the actual date would be much before that. It's just that we never documented. We were not, we passed on our traditions orally. So don't worry too much about the timelines. The Vedic literature contains the highest spiritual principles so that mankind can reach the ultimate goal, that of moksha, or that reaching, merging with the imperishable, changeless substratum, which the basis of the entire creation. So these texts, as I've mentioned, were not originally written down, but were carefully passed down orally from one generation to the other. And the core of the literature is the knowledge and understanding of the religious ideas, some rituals, and deeper meaning of life. So it provides us with a complete record of beliefs and practices of that time, actually. Now, the ancient Vedic literature or the Vedic literature is layered in four text layers. Okay, so one is the Samhitas, which is the Vedas proper, which are considered
Okay,
revealed texts. They are Paurusha because they were not written, I mean, they were maybe physically written by humans, but they were revealed to the pure sages of yore, the really evolved people.
okay,
And they describe Brahman as the imperishable, changeless substratum. And there are four Vedas, as we know. Rig Ved, which consists of 1028 hymns praising the Lord. Samaved, 1875 verses of musical chants for worship. Yajurved, which contains mantras for ritualistic guidelines. And Atharved, which was written later actually. So even in the Bhagavad Gita, at one place, Lord mentions the three Vedas. So Athar was not included in that, right? So these are philosophical treatises. So this is the first layer of the text, which is the Samhitas, Vedas proper. Then we come on to the Brahmanas, which are commentaries on the Vedas by the sages. So they explain the hymns of the Vedas in greater detail. So for every Veda, there is a Brahmana associated. Then the next layer is the Aranakyas, which are also Aranakya means forest. So forest books. So this they interpret the sacrificial rituals and philosophy and are more inclined to help the people who were living in the forest, because our gurukuls, if you will go back or think about your what you have been reading, they would be in the forests, right? So they are more, so these are also known as the forest books.
Okay.
So now part of the Brahmanas and Aranakyas constitute the fourth layer, which is the Upanishads. Okay, so
Okay.
various Upanishads are actually portions of the Brahmanas or the Aranakyas, which are pulled out, which align to a particular topic under discussion, right?
Yes.
So the Upanishads are essentially parts of Brahmanas and Aranakyas, which are philosophical texts exploring that Paramatman, the Atman, the universal soul, the nature of reality. So the Upanishads delve into the mysteries of this universe, the entities that inhabit it, the relationship between them, and specifically the relationship between God and the individual soul, the Jivatma. And of course, they try to explain to us or present that ultimate goal of humankind and how to attain that. So, Upanishads are the philosophies contained in the four Vedas, so some part of that, and they are meant for spiritual knowledge. The word Upanishad is up plus ni plus shad. Okay, so up means close, ni means properly down, shad means to sit and or to obtain. So Upanishad means that knowledge which is obtained by properly sitting close to a teacher or a guru. So in the Indian tradition, the guru is absolutely essential, especially for the higher spiritual knowledge. This same Guru Shishya Parampara is also reflected in our arts and music, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, so there are 200 odd Upanishads, of which the principal one are Ish, Kain, Kat, Prashn, Manduk, so on and so forth. We go on, right?
Yeah.
Coming to Ish Upanishad, it holds the pride of the place. It is at the head, it's principal Upanishad of these 108 important Upanishad. The interesting
So is it the,
yeah.
so I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it the first Upanishad? That
No.
means.
I mean, when we talk about Upanishads, it's the primary Upanishad in the sense it holds its own amongst the set of Upanishads.
Okay.
I mean, technically, we do not really categorize, but it is considered the main uh, Upanishad. And why is that? That is because it is actually not a part of Brahmana or Aranakya, right?
Yeah.
This is actually the 40th chapter of the Yajurved, the
Okay.
Shukla Yajurved, so which is the original Yajurved. So, because we have been consolidating Vedas, as I told you, it was the oral tradition that was used to pass on the knowledge. So, when the consolidation or when the writing down of the Vedas happened, some included some verses in uh, and in a particular Ved, and similarly in Ish Upanishad also. So there is a version of the Ish Upanishad which only has 16 verses apparently, but I am doing
Okay.
the one which has 18. So
Yeah.
it is now the point is that it is the last chapter, is the 40th chapter of the Shukla Yajurved, the original Yajurved. So amongst the Upanishads, amongst the main Upanishads, it is unusual because actually the text is belonging to the Samhita layer of the Vedas, right? You're actually reading a Veda when you are reading Ish Upanishad rather than a Aranakya or a Brahmana, the treatise. So that is one thing that one should feel grateful about, that we are able to read and we are able to understand this text. No other Upanishad is drawn directly from the Vedas, the complete Upanishad. Now, the name of the Upanishad, Ish means Lord, and Vase means what? enveloping. So Ishavasya means enveloped by the Lord. So it's either known as Ish, which is Lord, or Ishavasya means meaning the enveloped by the Lord. So these are the first and the first two words of the first verse of this Upanishad. Right. So that's how the name of the Upanishad has come about. And of course, we are largely discussing the purpose of human life, attaining moksha, salvation, freedom from cycle of birth and death. So, as you read the Upanishads, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, you will notice that the intended audience or the level of the seeker is what is different. Upanishads always address a higher level of audience or seekers when we compare it to the Bhagavad Gita. So the texts are terser, all Upanishads, in fact, and there are no confusions about whether you should form a statue, a form or formless worship. All those kind of things are not really talked about in the Upanishads. Then I would just briefly like to cover the three entities of the universe that we will be discussing and that we have actually discussed while doing the Bhagavad Gita also. Prakriti, which is matter, Jivatma, the individual souls, and this is animate. So Prakriti is inanimate, however, it continuously changes and transforms. So you have, creation, then that creation exists, and then it dissolves. So that's how matter changes. Jivatma is actually referring to the soul within each one of us. It is animate, but it is conditioned. So it is conditioned by our vasanas, actually, our nature. So, starting from plants, viruses, bacteria, insects, fishes, amphibians, lower animals, mammals, and humans at the top of the pyramid, all of them are in this category of jivatmas. Humans, of course, are the pinnacle of existence because they have a discerning intellect which allows them to choose a well thought out course of action. The rest of the creation functions as if it were pre programmed. So, this was the second entity. Third, of course, is Paramatma, the pure consciousness, which is animate. It is the creator, controller, and destroyer of universe. It's omnipresent, it's omniscient, and it has uh, put certain eternal laws. So it meets out justice to the Jivatma or individual souls based on their karma as per the law of karma. So these universal laws are always in action, functioning. So let me start with verse number 1. You have the text in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So actually, I don't, but I remember it. So I'll just carry on. So let me chant. ईशावास्यमेदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत्तेन त्यक्तेन मोहिता मा गृधतस्य स्विद्धनं. So this verse is it's the first verse. You have already seen the occurrence of the words Ishavasya,
Yes.
right? So what is it saying? What does the verse translate to? Now let me just come to that. What is the verse saying? It is saying, when we translate it is the foundational declaration. And the first line translates to all this, whatever that moves or does not move in the world, is pervaded by the Lord. That is the first line. Ish is that Lord. Vasya envelops. Idam, all this. Sarvam, idam is this. Sarvam is all. Yat kinch, whatever you see. Jagatyam, moving. And of course, the implication is non moving. Jagat, in the world. Tena tyakten. So this was the first line. Okay. That all this, whatever that moves in the world, is pervaded by that Lord. Then we move to the next line. Tena tyakten. That tyagpurvak, ten, that whatever is there, bhunjita, enjoy. Right?
Yes.
Ma means not. Gridha is greed. Actually, the word greed has come from this grid, the Sanskrit word grid. Kasya swid dhanam. Kasya means whose? Swid dhanam, all this wealth is dhan. So, the instruction that follows in the second line is not withdrawal, first and foremost, but a particular orientation towards action and enjoyment. So enjoy through renunciation, do not covet. Okay, so this is the point from where the path of action begins. That we have read in detail in the Bhagavad Gita chapter, actually, right from chapter 2, but specifically in detail in chapter 3, 4, and 5. So, this is what the first verse of the Isha says. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्याम जगत तीन त्यक्तेन भुंजिता ma gridha kas swidhanam. Right? So this is the first verse. Second verse. So I will chant. Kurvanevehe karmani jeji vishechatam samah एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरेः. So, what it says is, thus worshipping, keeping this in mind, remembering that Lord, Kurvaneve means remembering that karmani, function in the world. So, remembering that function, Jiji Vichesatam Sama means wish to live for 100 seasons. Sama is seasons actually, which means we are translating it to years. So, the average life expectancy possibly then was 100 years. So, we continue on the path of action. So, thus acting without attachment, remembering that Paramatman which is enveloping everything that we see around us, one should wish to live for 100 years. The next line. Evam tvai nanyathethosti na karma lipyate nare. Evam tvai, other than this, na anya, there is no other way by which karma lipyate, taint or stick. This you may recollect, we have discussed a lot in the Bhagavad Gita, right?
Yes.
Tainting of action.
Yeah.
So there is no other way by which the actions do not taint Nare is humans, right?
Yes.
So it's only in this manner where we function. Firstly, understanding the path of knowledge, understanding that all that we see around us is pervaded by the Lord. That is the path of knowledge. Then
Yes.
we should not withdraw from whatever we have, we should enjoy. The rule is to engage with it in a particular manner. We should not covet, we should not have greed for more and more, and so we have to enjoy, we must learn to enjoy through renunciation. And then we should act in this world and hope to live for 100 years. There is no other way by which our actions will not stick to us. So, renunciation is not a matter of leaving the world, but it is the quality of engagement with it that we need to observe. That is what the verse is saying.
See.
So, with that, I will close the recording.